All right, and so it begins. Part of every guitar instructor's life where I actually show you things on paper. All right, so we're going to go ahead and see if we can knock this out. I got my crazy cheat sheet that I made here, my really fancy oak desk. This thing cost me $4 billion. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump into this real quick. No guitars. I'm going to make several of these videos. I may be a little cheat sheet out here to make sure that I know exactly what I'm teaching because I don't have my guitar in front of me. And I'm going to tell you right now, one thing that I will tell you, and I've told you this in so many videos, is my knowledge of the fretboard is very intrinsic. It's very internal. It's very muscle memory based. So I can play it with my fingers, but then showing things on the fretboard and counting the frets and all that stuff, what's the best way to say it? It escapes me sometimes. So a lot of guitarists become like that because it becomes something that you can do, but it's not something you can teach really well. So sometimes you have to have little memory devices and everything like that to help you. So as I teach, I become aware of things that I need to work on and things like that, and things that I need to get better at, improve better, improve more at, and including my the way that I speak and all that stuff as well, right? All right, so what are we doing today? We're going to be discussing mysteries. Specifically, why do I keep saying in my videos that the fretboard is all a circle? Every scale shape is the same, and you only really need to know one pattern that is repetitive and it's all over the place. That doesn't mean it applies to everything. Okay, there's other scales that may not fit into this way of thinking, but your primary modes, your primary scales based off the major scale, this is the kind of stuff this applies to. And then even when you get into things like pentatonic and harmonic minor, you can apply a lot of the same ideas to this. Even exotic scales, a lot of the same ideas can be applied. It's just a matter, and I might even come back and do like a lesson on this, on how can you see this, how can you open yourself up to seeing the code, when you look at like a different kind of scale, like a pentatonic or harmonic minor or Phrygian dominant or something like that. It's all in there. It's all the same stuff. It's just a matter of making a few adjustments. Okay, so here's the mystery right here. Here's how to solve it. If you just look right here at this one right here. This is the full fretboard. Okay, this literally could be any string. This is major scale. Whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. It's major scale. When we think of major scale, I'm going to rewrite this out here because I don't want to mess the cheat sheet up. But when we think of major scale, we think of something I like to call, well, I don't like to call it, this is what it's called, movable solfege. If we're starting on the key of G, like if this is open, and let's say this is the low E string, and this is the key of G, which would be on the 3rd fret, we're starting here on the key of G, that would be Do. Then whole step Re, whole step Mi, half step Do, Re, Mi, Fa, whole step So, whole step La, whole step Ti, and then half step Do, right? Because you got whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, right? Looking at my cheat sheet. Yep, that's right. So then we're back to Do, which is the same thing as that. If this is the 3rd fret, and then this is the 15th fret. Okay? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay? And it's just an octave. So if I wanted to go from the 15th fret, I could play back. If I wanted to go down to the 3rd fret, back to the 15th fret, I could play back. And that's a circle. It's an oval, but it's a circle, right? Circular nature of the fretboard. Now, how do I apply that across 6 strings? So let's look at the major scale in the key of G with your open up here, your E, A, D, G, B, and little e. Now it doesn't matter what tuning matters. You got to be in standard tuning, but it doesn't matter if you drop down or not. This applies to every major scale. This could be the major scale in the key of A, the major scale in the key of G, B, C, D, A, whatever. It doesn't matter. It could be any major scale. We can start it on any of these frets. It's going to be the same. So we're going to go ahead and go and just look at the key of G. And we don't even need to worry about names of notes. I mean, it's good to learn that, but we can just think in terms of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay. So we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la. Okay. Ti, do. That is an octave. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, and then la, ti, do. That right there, because of the way the second string is tuned, it's the oddball. We go over 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. We got do again. Do, re, mi, fa. There you go. You got do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Almost 3 across the fretboard. Almost 3 across the fretboard. Go it diagonally down. We can do this as a box shape too. Like, let's go ahead and say that this is the start of my fretboard, and there's my third fret right there again. I'm not going to teach the box shapes today. I want to focus on 3-note per string shapes. But just so you can see it, if this is the key of G, this would be do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re. Right back to there. This note right here is the same note I could play right there, which is one note outside. But if we're still in the key of G, or we're playing in the key of G, then it doesn't matter. I want you to look at these patterns here. These patterns right here, where I'm playing half step, whole step, half step, whole step. These patterns right here, where I'm playing whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Look in the original shape. You see them here. These would honestly be the same notes, right? Well, I take that back. I'm not absolutely 100% sure if they'll be the same notes. I'm not going to pull the guitar and figure that out. I just know it's the same pattern. Same pattern. Whole step, half step. Same pattern here. Half step, whole step. The only big chunk of pattern that I'm missing is this one right here. It's in there. It's just we're squeezing everything into a box instead of going diagonally across the fretboard. So what do I mean by that? Okay. So when I play, and when I teach my free course over at justpickuptheguitarandgo.com, I a lot of times will say play the 1, 2, 4 pattern, play the 1, 3, 4 pattern. And I'm talking about my fingers. 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4. So index finger, middle finger, pinky is your 1, 2, 4. Index finger, ring finger, pinky is your 1, 3, 4. Okay? So when we look at those patterns, we always have the large span shapes, which I play with my index finger, ring finger, and pinky. This is 2 whole steps. We always have 3 of those. And then after that, we always play, and you can even see it on the original diagram here. You can see it on the original diagram, that after that, we play these half step, whole steps. We play 2 of those. Now you don't see 3 of the whole steps on this right here, but I'll show you why in just a second. So we always play 2 of those. So we're going to do a half step, and then a whole step, half step, and then a whole step. That's your second shape, right? This is called 1, 2, 4 pattern. 1, 2, 4. Okay? Let me cut my fingernails. And then we got 1, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4. That's my 1, 3, 4 because I'm playing with my first finger, my ring finger, and my pinky. You always got two of those. And then it cycles back. Now, if you notice, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 patterns. If this right here, that note right there, starts the major scale, because it does. That's an old one I was doing. This note right here starts the major scale. So notice we got a whole step, we got a whole step. Okay? Between here and here, that's a half step. We don't really need to know that, but if you look at the scale, whole step, right? And then half step. See, whole step, and then half step. It just follows the pattern of the, what do you call it? Of the single line scale. Okay, so over here, if I had a 7 string, I could go ahead and play another whole step. So you'd have a whole step. From here to here would be a half step. Then a whole step. From here to here would be a half step. Okay, and whole step. And there's 3 of these. You might be thinking to yourself, well, what is that? Well, if this right here corresponds to the 6th string on the 3rd fret, and that's G, and this is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and this is re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and this is re, mi, fa, then we would go backwards and go do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? So ti, la, is that right? Ti, la, so. I have a hard time going backwards with it. So I'll just write them out real quick. This is do, this is re, this is mi, this is do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. Yeah, I was right. So ti, la, do. That'd be ti, la, do. I mean so, not do, so. So we looked at the scale here, and this is do, re, mi, fa, so. That's so right there. Then this is la, ti, do. What would that be? Well, you have modal patterns. You start with Ionian. You move from Ionian to Dorian. You move from Dorian to Phrygian. You move from Phrygian to Lydian. You move from Lydian to Mixolydian. And you move from Mixolydian to Aeolian. And from Aeolian to Locrian. If you think about these as being assigned do, re, mi, fa, so, la, and ti, then so is your Mixolydian. So if you look on a 7-string fretboard, and I was playing that whole step across 3 strings before I got into this half step, whole step, the 1, 2, 4 shape, and then the 1, 3, 4 shape. If I did that, then I'm playing Mixolydian. But only on one condition. This is where it gets tricky. You got to be playing in that key. That's got to be your tonic. It's got to be your root or your tonal center or whatever it's called. So if this is a 7-string guitar and this is a B string, then what would we have? C, D, something like that. So that might be a D. Or correct me if I'm wrong, it might be something else. I don't know. But it'd be D Mixolydian, right? So then this right here will be G, only if we're playing in this tonal center. If we're playing here, this is going to be G Ionian. So we mapped out the Ionian scale, and it's all sloppy now. We mapped out the Ionian scale, okay, and we saw the patterns. Now let's look at the Dorian scale. So let's go ahead and all right, Dorian is my second shape. Dorian begins on that second note. So it's whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Do you even need to know that? And that's where a lot of guitarists get confused. All right, so again, this is E, A, D, G, B, E. This is the G note right here on the 3rd fret. If we moved everything back, like basically if I took this note and took the whole scale and bounced it back 2 frets, then we would start here, but we would move it back and it would be on the 3rd fret. And now it's going to be a different pattern. So now we're playing G Dorian. I want to keep everything in the key of G. Playing G Dorian. Here. Now we're going to go here. I want you to think about those patterns. Think about how we started with a whole step, half step. We started with a 1, 3, 4 pattern. Now we're moving into the whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step. So you got to think, how many of those do I need? I need 3 of them. The pattern always repeats. It's 3. So I need 3 of them, which means I need another fret. I need 2 frets. Okay, so we need another fret down there. So now we're going to go into 3 of these. So we got 1, 2, 3. We got 1, 2, 3. And we got 1, 2, 3. All whole steps. Whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step. Or we can think about it as long spans. Half step, whole step, or whole step, half step, then whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step. Not really worried too much about going from the bottom note to the next note in the next frame. Okay, or frame, string. If you want to figure that out on your own, you can just look at how it's laid out. You got whole step, half step, then whole step, whole step, whole step, then half step, then whole step, right? It goes like that. So we have those 3. Then we're going to go ahead and do this one, the 1, 2, 4 patterns, the half step, whole step, half step, whole step. So 2nd string's tuned weird, which is why I made my little cheat sheet, because I don't have the guitar in front of me, so I know I got to go to the 4th fret here and do my half step, whole step, and my half step, whole step. Then you have the Dorian mode. That is the Dorian mode. And you want to see your shapes, right? If I kept on going, like if I wrote anything here, if there was another string right here, then what would it be? It would go to the 1, 3, 4. So it'd be a whole step and then a half step. So that's how the patterns align. This one actually has all the patterns in it except for that last string there. You got this one, which is a whole step, half step. So we would need another one in front of that, which is technically the same one that's over there, right? And then as we keep on going, we would have all that lined up. Okay? So does that make sense? It'll actually go up here because it's going to be in the same spot. I know it's a little confusing. Let's look at another one, because basically what we're doing is we're understanding all of the different shapes. Remember, it's 3 long span shapes where I'm playing like, across 3 frets. Okay, whole step, whole step. And we're going to do the half step, whole step 2 times. And we're going to do the whole step, half step 2 times. So let's look at the next one, which, going back to here, right? I'll keep that out there. It's going to be Phrygian. I'll keep on going. Going to move everything back to G. Same thing. I'm going to go from here, here. I'll take this note, move it back. So it's a half step, whole step, and then it keeps on going from there. I got it written out right there, so I'm going to go ahead and just write it out for you and show you how it works. You're going to go 3rd fret, half step, whole step. This is my 1, 3, 4 pattern. This is my 1, 2, 4 pattern. We're going to start with a 1, 2, 4 pattern. Now we're going to go through a 1, 3, 4 pattern because it only has one of those. Okay, so we're going to go to 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. And we're going to go from there to these. Okay? We need 3 of those. First one's going to start here. 1, whole step, whole step. Second string is going to bump the next one up. And that first string will be the same as the second string. But again, you got your same patterns. There's your 1, 2, 4. There's your 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. And there's your whole, 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 whole. Okay? Your whole. All right? Same thing. And then let's go ahead and look at the next one, which would be, I'll leave that up there for reference. Next one would be Lydian. Lydian. I know I'm going to get people in the comments, you know, you should have just printed out some blank ones instead of drawing that every time. Yeah, I get it. Starting on G, once again, taking Lydian. This is Ionian. Then this shape right here, again, it's got to be over the tonal center. It's got to make sense for the sound, but this will be Dorian, Phrygian, now we're Lydian. Starts out with whole steps, 2 whole steps. That's going to be this pattern, right? So whole step, whole step, whole step, whole step. Then we go into, actually I messed up on that. Lydian is going to be whole step, and then it's going to go to this one. It's going to go ahead and be this. Lydian actually starts here. See, so Lydian starts here, so it's going to go into that right away. So I'm going to cross that out. I'm going to go ahead and go whole step. Then we're going to go to the 1, 2, 4 patterns. Half step, whole step, whole step, and then from there we're going to go into the 1, 3, 4 patterns. Whole step, half step. Second string is bumping up 1 fret, but we're still going to do whole step, half step, and then we're going to jump back to here and grab this one, which is going to be your whole step, whole step. Again, patterns are the same. Now let me go back to a couple of these because I want to make sure I clear up one confusion before we go do the rest of them, because we're almost done. Go back and clear up just one confusion real quick for the rest of them. So a lot of people will say, well, no, you got to have a flat third and a raised sixth and all kinds of stuff like that. And they're not wrong. If we look at Dorian, where was my Dorian mode at? There's my Phrygian, there's my Dorian. So actually that's Ionian. If we look at the Ionian, right, which is the original pattern here. Okay, I know I wrote all over it. But we know that we always kind of go back to Ionian. We always go back to the major scale. And we say to ourselves, well, when we alter the major scale, we get different modes. That's what everyone basically says. We alter the major scale, we get different modes. So here's Dorian right here. We alter the major scale. Instead of doing a whole step here, we have this note right here, which is actually a flat third. Okay, it's the third note of the scale, 1, 2, 3. Instead of playing here, we played here instead. So we flatten the third. Okay, if we look at the one that I just did, which is Lydian, right? We got whole step, that's good. But then right here, the fourth note, we raised the fourth. And that's what people say makes Lydian its signature sound, is you raise the fourth, it makes it Lydian. But the patterns, I'm going to harp back to this for the rest of my life, but the patterns are the same. It's still following that same pattern. There it is right there, right? It's still following that same pattern. So it doesn't matter if you change a note. Like, do you have to sit there and say, oh, I'm going to play the major scale, but I'm going to play Dorian. In order to play Dorian, I've got to raise the fourth. No. You just know that you're playing these patterns, and this is how they line up when you play the Dorian mode. I'm going to make another video on this where I show you kind of how it lines up all across the fretboard so that you can see it's just the same pattern repetitive. Okay, because I'm sure you're asking, one question you're probably asking is, how do I know which one to start with? Well, I'm showing you the patterns right now. And I've showed patterns in my other videos. I've got great stuff out there that you can go check out. But once you start seeing the patterns, you'll start understanding how it all lines up. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at Mixolydian. Again, we're going to start on the 3rd fret, which is the G. I'm going to take Mixolydian. Remember, that's Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian. Now we're on Mixolydian. It also has 2 wide spans. This one's actually going to start. This one's really cool because it actually starts with these 3. It goes to these 2, and then it goes to these. But because it's only 6 strings, it's only going to grab that last one right there, and that'll be it. But basically, that's how it is. You got the whole step, whole step. You got the whole step, whole step. You got the whole step, whole step. And then from there, you go into the half step, whole steps, or what I like to call the 1, 2, 4 patterns, because you're playing with your first finger, your second finger, your ring finger. So we go into the 1, 2, 4 patterns, and when we do that, we actually bump up one right here. I'm checking my cheat sheet just to make sure I got it right. 1, 2, 4 there. And they got to bump up again because of the second string the way it's tuned. 1, 2, 4 right there, and then 1, 3, 4. Like I said, you'd only have one of those. It would come at the end there on the first string. Okay, which we leave this one off, but it's there. It exists. It just, we ran out of strings. All right, now we go back to this one, and we're gonna do Aeolian. No, Mixolydian. Mixolydian. Well, no, that was Mixolydian. This is Lydian. This is Mixolydian. Okay. So now we got Aeolian. If you're a rock and metal player, Phrygian's probably real fun to you, and then Aeolian's probably pretty fun to you. Here's Aeolian. Okay. And again, we're going to start on G, so we're going to say 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, there's G. We're going to play whole step, half steps. This one's actually going to start with the 1, 2, 4 patterns. Then it's going to go into the 1, then it's going to go over here, right? It's going to do these. It's going to do one of them, the second one, third one's going to bump up 1 fret. Let me get some more frets. So this one's going to go here. And then the last one, since it's got 3 of those, it's going to go to this one right here. And that's going to be, just make sure, let me check my cheat sheet. Last one is going to be on the next fret up. Yep. Okay, there you go. There you go. And then finally Locrian, which is this one. Okay, G right here. Locrian starts with the 1, 2, 4s, both of them. So it's pretty easy to remember. It's an odd shape to play, because if you play it over the tonic, it sounds weird, but you can still play the shape and play over other keys if you're playing it over other tonal centers, right? So you get your 1, 2, 4s, your 1, 3, 4s, and then your 1, 3, 4s that are long spans. You got 2 of those. And that one really fits the pattern pretty well because it doesn't start in the middle or something. It really starts with right here and then goes into it. Okay? So that is all your modes laid out showing you all the patterns. Like again, I could say Locrian has, well, Ionian will be played here. Ionian will be played here, here, and here. So therefore, Locrian has a flat second and a flat third. And if I kept on going, I could find other things in it. But do we need that? The patterns, right? I'm not saying don't learn it. I'm just saying I want you to see the patterns and see how the modes lock together like different patterns. And I want you also to notice something. I go over this in my free course too, where you got these anchor shapes, where you got these half steps right here. The next thing up would be whole steps. They lock together like puzzle pieces, and that allows you to go to the next shape. So Locrian would just jump right into Ionian, not Aeolian. Ionian, because Ionian actually starts right here. It actually just locks in, right? And then this one will go here. And then you got these. And then it goes from there, right? You got these. Because Ionian would just lock in right there. So that's what's cool about learning it this way, is understanding that if you just understand the patterns and how everything's a circle, because the fretboard itself, Not only can you go this way, you can go from higher frets to lower frets and back around and back around and back around. Not only can you do that and circular that way, but every time you start on the sixth string and you go to the first string, you can swing back around and grab notes either above or below that also match, with whatever you're playing, and that allows you to be very expressive, right? You still got to work on all your mechanics and stuff, but it allows you to be very expressive. So, love questions in the chat. I'm going to make more of these. Give me questions. I don't understand. I do understand, and the way you're teaching it is wrong. I don't care. Just tell me something, because I do really like the way, I do really like thinking about it this way, and I really think it's going to help you. And don't forget, I got a free course, which really goes over this. I actually hold the guitar and I teach it. Just pick up the guitar and go.com. Check it out.